Okay, there are four people who are extremely important in the lives of Plato. So we can understand influences on life on life of Plato. That means the people who have influenced how Plato thought or how Plato thinks and what his works are. And Plato is influenced by the four people. And who are those people? Number one, try to remember Pythagoras. Who is Pythagoras? All of you know he is famous for, to be specific, it is geometry. Can you tell me what is Pythagoras formula? So Pythagoras, Plato is influenced by whom? By Pythagoras, and he is famous for geometry. There is another person. His name is Heraclitus. There is another person. His name is Heraclitus, and the Heraclitus has also influenced Plato. Another person is Parmenides. Okay, another person is Parmenides. Pythagoras, Heraclitus, Parmenides. See, if you are listening to these names, I think Pythagoras you have heard about it many times. But Heraclitus and Parmenides you might have heard hearing for the first time. And so be acquainted with that. Of course, there is no jadibuti that you can remember. It's only by practice. If you recall this name for 5 to 6 times, automatically it will come into. And the most important person is Socrates. The most important person is the Socrates. So these are the four people. There are many people actually, but these are the four important people whom Plato considered to take the guidance in his work related to make the state an ideal. Pythagoras, Heraclitus, Parmenides, and Socrates. Now let us understand about the Pythagoras, Heraclitus, and Parmenides and Socrates. Socrates we will discuss in detail because that is in your syllabus also. It might not be mentioned specifically, but it is in your syllabus. The reason is Plato is considered to be the biggest critic of Socrates and also considered to be biggest disciple of Socrates. That means Plato followed Socrates and Plato also criticized Socrates. There is a statement, I don't know if you know or not, there is a statement called as everything is Socratic, everything Socratic is Platonic and everything Platonic is Socratic. So everything Socratic is Platonic and everything Platonic Socrates. That means the statement itself says that Socratic and Plato are similar. This could be a question. You can write down this question also. Comment. No, there is a statement. Okay. So comment. Everything is Socratic is Platonic and everything Platonic is Socratic. Comment. So this means that Socratic and Platonic considered to be similar. The reason is many ideas of Plato he has drawn from Socrates. Okay, and also we can say that of course Socrates has not drawn from Plato because Socrates was first person and Plato comes second. But many is, as the Socrates is not very famous, but Plato is very famous in political science. So we will try to understand why it is called everything is Socratic is Platonic and everything is Platonic is Socratic. Okay, why Socratic and Plato are considered to be similar in their works. We will discuss it later on, but this is one of the important questions in your PSIR. You can just note it down, and we will discuss later on. But I'll discuss about the particular topic. Now, coming to point, I'll just briefly give you some information related to Pythagoras and how Pythagoras has influenced. How Pythagoras has influenced. Now, according to Pythagoras, okay, as Pythagoras is famous for geometry, so according to Pythagoras, the entire universe is based on mathematical logical principles. So, what Pythagoras say? That entire universe is based on mathematical logical principles. Entire universe. So, if the universe itself is based on mathematical, then we as a people, we are people, and people are inside a society. And society is inside one state, and the state is inside the universe. So, if the universe itself is based on mathematical principles, the society also ought to be logical. Okay, also ought to be logical. So you can say how this has influenced Plato, because in later time, this one in the statesman where Plato is trying to be logical. So in his post-adult phase, Plato has influenced. Plato is being influenced from Pythagoras, and he is thinking, as Pythagoras has said, the entire universe is based on mathematical logical principle. And if we are in a society, and society is a subset of the state, and the state is a part of the universe. So if the universe is a bigger term, which is already mathematical logical principle, so our society also ought to be based on logical principles. And that is the influence on Plato for giving the statesman, where we understand many of his theories and dialogues are more logical and more practical, like geometry. Clear? This is next is next person is Heraclitus. In the Heraclitus, what happens? He once said, change is essence of water. So he once said, change is essence of water. It's very important. Okay. It's very important. Why? Because this statement is as relevant as today also. So the only thing which is permanent is change. Change is the essence of water. World is ought to be changing. World cannot be the way it is always. So, and this proves our history. If we look into our history, the timeline in our history always been changing. So change is the essence of the world. And what Heraclitus says, it seems to be everything is changing, but what remains same? What remains same is ideas. And it is said by whom? By Hermodius. Okay. So you can say Heraclitus is making a statement, the change is essence of the world. So that means he is trying to say that world is always moving. The societies, the value systems, and everything is always moving. But what Parmet is saying that yes, of course, world is changing. But whatever the world changes, in which directions it changes, one thing it remains same, that is idea. So idea is always permanent and idea always remains same. So that is a statement by Parmenides related to which has also influence on the life of Plato, because Plato has also considered that ideas. That is the reason why we say that ideas of Plato. Okay, because Plato wanted to give an idea which will be permanent. Plato wanted to make an ideal state which must be permanent. Okay, so that is the influence from Parmenides as well as that is the influence from other like Pythagoras and Heraclitus. Now these are the three people influences on the life of Plato. One is Pythagoras, Heraclitus, and Parmenides. Now one of the important person, that is the fourth person, Socrates. So Socrates is, as I told, the most important in the life of Plato compared to all these four, among all these four. Why is that so? We will understand. Now, Socrates has given three important things which Plato has drawn. Number one, the theory of knowledge. Number two, the method of dialectics. Number three, the statement knowledge is pursued. So these are the three statements, or three important way how uh, Socrates has worked.